regular basis in the small engine repair business.
Yeah, tell me about it. Hold on.
Yeah. Close.
Oh yeah, especially when something comes in.
And one of these, they know what it is.
Straightforward with you and tell you that, oh, by the way, I disconnected this safety switch and I disconnect. Like you get stuff in where they've disconnected or they've gone and rewired something, and then all of a sudden, boom.
The minute I saw a Scotch lock, I said, "Oh, we're fucked." You know.
Well,
the minute you see Scotch locks,
yeah,
you know.
Klaus and I and David Cornett were together and trying to figure out why Klaus's riding mower that he was working on didn't work. Well, the guy that owns it worked on it and put the two red wires on backwards.
Wonderful.
Okay, here you know the riding mowers that got the key switch and they've got that button that you press to go into reverse.
Yeah.
You don't know how many of them have come in here where they're not running. Jake goes and unplugs that section of it for the reverse safety, fires right up, call the guy and say, look, we can order you the new part, or don't go in reverse with it and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But I've had to unplug it to get it to fire up.
Yeah. And that's not cheap. Those switches aren't cheap.
No. And I don't know how many. I'm going to guess over 12 years.
Just tell him you're Kenny Wyman's kid.
Over 12 years, he's likely had 5 or 6 that he's replaced.
Tell him it's for me.
And then likely 4 or 5 that the people just said unplug it.
Yeah. But then they lose reverse, and
the key's in it.
They're going to still try to go in reverse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but not mow. Yeah. Well, then, when it's disconnected, you can go in reverse. Can you mow then when it's disconnected? I don't think so.
Or I don't think so because it's all safety.
No, it'll backfire. And everything.
Yeah.
Oh, what a nightmare! What a freaking nightmare. Well, in the meantime, I can work on the tractor. Stella said she'll be a little late. Those in the chat, I can't see if you guys want to answer chats. Right now, I'm going to point now, or I just want to tell everyone to go screw, but that's all right.
Glenn, hi. Lee from Enfield is on. He's saying hi to everyone. And we got, let's see, who else is here? Rick's here.
Dave from DNR.
Yeah.
Dick.
Peter. John. Where's John here?
We got our first Toro Time Master in.
Yeah.
Listen, I got to tell you, like, it's not a horrendous job to switch out the belt and the blades, but Jake ordered them from Sten. So I don't know if anybody out there wants to check out what the price is for right from a Toro dealer, but we ordered the belt from Sten's, the serpentine belt, and that was $69. I'm going to assume that from the dealership, it'd be likely $80 to $100. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, definitely.
And the blades were $30.50 a piece. Because as soon as that belt goes, buddy, them 2 blades hit, there's no ends. It takes the ends right off the blades. Like both blades, just a big chunk taken out of both ends, eh?
Yeah.
So the guy picked it up. He was tickled pink. He got his machine back. But when you fire it up and you engage the blades on this thing, it's got a lot of torque. Like Jake says, it's like basically it looks like a 10-horse engine on this thing.
Yeah.
Right. And it's all like you could just tell it's all torque.
Yeah, and it's all cogged. So there's no slippage,
No, you got but I told the guy when he picked it up, I said, listen, at the end of the year, take this cover off and clean all the grass that's going to be built up under there.
Yeah.
Thank you, dear. There's the wife delivering coffee. Mother's Day tomorrow. Got to take her out for supper tonight. We're going to go out and have a meal.
Yeah. Al McLean's on saying hi. How you doing, Al?
So anyways, I told him, get all that grass out of there, because if the grass gets in to the teeth, it can jump a tooth.
Yeah.
And if it jumps one tooth, you might still be okay. But if it jumps one more, how many teeth can you jump before you hit the blades?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Klaus, how you doing? Klaus is, I think, in the basement, I believe.
Hold on.
Yeah, that's the problem with those. And the blades are just enough to where they're going to hit.
Oh, yeah.
Just
It
enough.
takes off likely about 3/8 of the ends were busted right off.
Yeah. And there he is.
Close.
Out of uniform again.
I'm sorry, Hank.
And then the guy
I promised someone to come have a look for a couple of minutes, and here she
There
is.
she is.
Well, that's your wife?
Yes.
Is that your wife?
Yeah, the best girl ever.
Granddaughter.
Vinton.
Hey, Stella.
Hi, Stella.
Hey, Stella.
Late for the party. Sorry.
That's
Oh,
okay.
you're not late. You're not late for the frustration, Stella.
Klaus's
Uh-oh.
little
You missed-
beauty.
you're
Klaus's
lucky you
little
missed the
beauty is
beginning.
waving to you, Stella.
Yeah.
A few, the
Yeah.
F-bombs, eh? A few of them on there.
Smukke, nu skal du gå ind til farmor, ikke? Jo, du skal ikke blive siddende her, for jeg skal
Hello.
snakke med dem her, ikke? Afsted med dig. Ja, de hedder bare møgunge. Prøv at høre, du kan lege med den her.
And
I
the
guess
guy that
Rick's
owned the
got-
Time Master, he was really upset because he hired a guy to come and roll and aerate his lawn and everything. And the guy that did that told him, you know what, you should drop your mower down one notch
Oh, yeah.
for your first cutting. So he did, and that's when he hit a rock.
Yikes.
He said, if I wouldn't have dropped it that one notch, I don't know that I would have damaged this.
Yeah. Well, the guy should have known that he can't do that from past cuttings.
I would have
Right.
just left it where it was. If you've been
Yeah.
using it and cutting it that height all along,
Right.
I have a thing I want to say.
You have a thing
go
you
ahead,
want to
say your thing.
Say your thing. Yeah.
Today I was working in the shop and it turned electrical, and I was backed in the corner. I'm not that good at electrical. And Hank and David helped
Burnett.
me out. Burnett, yeah. So thanks, guys. Dave, if you're watching, thanks.
So did you learn anything?
I learned a lot.
Good man. That's what it's all about.
Oh yeah.
Wattage equals volts times amps. That's all you got to remember.
You see, that's what everybody says, and I have no idea. I understand all the words. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I get it. I'm right there with you, Klaus.
Yeah, and Dave the guy had replaced his starter solenoid, and the thing was dead. I'm talking dead. Nothing,
Excuse me.
nothing. And in about an hour in, all of a sudden, Dave goes, "Hey, that takeoff from the solenoid is on the wrong side." And sure enough, and then combined, we had a bad solenoid, and we had the wire that feeds power, the 12-volt power to the solenoid so it can click, was bad.
Yeah.
And so these things combined just threw me off. I mean, I could diagnose a bad solenoid, I can diagnose a bad wire, but when three things comes together,
Well, it's you're trying to chase three problems at that point, and that's very difficult to pinpoint what it is.
It's like I'm chasing something. I'm not quite sure what it is and where it's going.
The problem
Right.
was he's taking all the safeties out, and I said, no.
Yeah.
I thought, won't start. Let's take the safety switches.
Yeah.
And Hank went, stop. That makes no sense. Go back. And we went back, and it was like, I think you guys were on with me for 2 hours today, and I thank you. I appreciate that. That's what it's all about. That's why you have a network in small engines, because
Yeah.
Well, I don't get a lot of riders, but I can say that every single one I've ever gotten in here had some sort of modification to the wiring harness. And that is
Oh,
so difficult to track that down. It really is.
Well, what do you
Hey,
think
I
Kenny's
got
happening?
$1 million Scag here with Scotch locks on it.
Yeah,
Sweet.
Kenny's having a problem with the wiring now.
Yeah.
Brand new starter.
You're in the right form, Kenny. What do you need?
No,
We
this
had a
thing
lot-
here, we just bought
Cut
that
something and solder it back together. It'll
we
work.
just bought that $200 Kawasaki starter. Okay.
Yeah.
And I bolt it all in. We go to turn the key, nothing. I'm like, what? So I put my test light on the trigger wire, nothing. Like, there's a problem with the wire, but the switch is brand new. We just put a brand new key switch in. Okay. So we're trying out different things. I put my little jumpers on it. So I jump it right from the battery to the jump terminal, turns over fine. Like, what the hell? So then he tries to put the jump wire back on the starter. He turns the key. It's okay, great. He puts the key switch, puts the panel back on, puts the seat down, nothing. Like, what the hell's going on? So I put the test light onto the jump wire, with the starter wire, solenoid wire. Okay, turn the key, there's no light. I'm like, what? So, so then I look at the battery cable. It's old battery cable, right? And when you put the test light on the battery, nice and bright, you put the test light on the end of the cable where it hits the starter, it's dim. So it could be corroded inside, not enough voltage in the thing. But why did it go when you manually did it? You know what I mean?
Well, you're bypassing. You're basically bypassing the solenoid when you go manual.
But when I see stuff with Scotch locks on the harness,
Yeah, that's a problem.
And one thing I forgot: the ignition switch was dodgy too, because when I measured it, it was on and then it went off. It came back on, went off, and So multiple.
With no input from you, it was just like beep 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 beep.
Yeah, and the wire that goes from the ignition switch to energize the solenoid, blue wire, and Hank kept saying it, and I was like, "What's that old fart talking about? Come on!" And all of it, and we measured it; it was dead, and I can't see any breaks in the wire. I can't see any. There's nothing, corroded. Nothing. It's just dead. It's a dead wire. It has to break somewhere. So we cut it about this much off the ignition switch and ran a new wire. Worked fine. So Hank, the next time I don't listen to you, smack me good, will you? Just
Yeah.
No, we worked on a riding mower once, I think, for an hour and a half tracing. There was a ground. There was something shorting out on the electrical system.
Yeah.
And we likely spent an hour and a half tracing the wiring until we got to a wire that was going through the frame, and they had like a 1/2-inch hole, no rubber grommet, just the wire going through the hole, and eventually just the vibration, it wore the insulation off of that thing. Right. And every now and then it would be away from it and wouldn't be grounded out. And as soon as you fired it up and you moved it, it would touch and it would short it out and ground out everything.
Yeah. No, but I mean, bad ground is something I almost do it every time I get an AYP product in. Where the ground wire from the battery goes into the frame. Take it off, clean it off, put it back together, give it some whatever that clear grease is called, and we're good, but this one had me, a perfectly intact blue wire with no connection.
Jake just bought one of those testers that will check along the insulation if you've got a break in the wiring.
I have that.
The thing is here that all the wires they're bundled up in one of those covery plastic thingies, and it just goes. So you basically have to rip everything apart to get to that wire.
Yeah, wire loom.
Loom, yes, thank you. But a perfect. I can see a break in a wire. Everybody can, right? Or corroded. If it corroded at the terminals and all that, there was no corrosion. It was just a bad wire.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm telling you, I would have been running around in circles, figure eights, for about 5 hours before I would have fixed that myself. So, thank you, guys. It's one of those places where you're in danger of shooting the parts cannon. because you
Right.
don't know what else to do.
Well,
And,
and
uh,
the other issue with electrical stuff like that is that it's difficult sometimes even doing continuity checks until you like take out all the light bulbs and all that sort of stuff, because there's so many points to ground. So trying to check that is not always the most easy thing to do, because it's like, oh, I forgot to disconnect this switch and this, and and then all of a sudden, oh, it's a bad ground, and it's not.
Yeah,
It's just,
you know what kills me though? When the guy shows up at noon, no problem. I told him to show up at noon. I'm figuring I'm gonna be there for 10 minutes, 2 bolts, put the starter in, put the switch in, done. Not 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
Hey.
that's like Dirt Rider here says, you connect it and it might push one of those terminals
Right.
out, and
Yeah.
you don't know until you find it.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
yeah, because Dirt Rider suggested earlier to check the key switch.
Well, no, it's
Kenny.
brand new key switch, brand new from a Scag dealer. It's a Scag part, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
cleaned it with contact cleaner.
I'm going to say a bad blue wire. That's my guess.
Chartreuse. Chartreuse.
Yeah. Shut. These guys, they were turning all funny on me and said, "Oh, you should do this color or that color or this color. Maybe go a little pinkish. Maybe go a little." And I only have 2 colors in the shop right now, and that's red and black. So I replaced the blue wire with a red one and labeled it blue.
Yeah.
That works.
All right.
Well, it's good to have people that you could get in touch with. I remember the time I was working on a generator, and I was checking like for resistance and the plugs, and before I got into too much on the generator, I'm checking and things aren't working out, but I'm using the old $39 Mastercraft ohm tester, right?
Yeah.
No good. I get a hold of Kenny, and Kenny gets in hold of
Condon.
bass guitar, gets a hold of James Condon, and he emails me and he says, listen, if you're measuring low resistance, you better have a good ohm meter, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So without Jake knowing, I went and got his fluke
Oh,
because I'm not supposed to use it, right? But anyways, I got it, and the thing tests, and right away I'm getting the resistance readings I should be getting. So bada bang, bada boom, everything is okay all the way down to here. And then I find out whoever was in there before had gone and Jake came out and he said, you know what? I think this thing's plugged in the wrong way. Sure enough, the plugs are identical. We just switched the plugs around. Boom, we got power. Somebody was in there and had plugged the power end to the other part, and it wasn't creating power. That's all it was. But Kenny, it was all the time spent to find it. And I asked the guy, did anybody work on this? He said, oh, yeah, years ago. I said, and you used it? Well, he said it fired up. I said, yeah, but did you try it to see if it was generating any power? Well, no, he said, I just fired it up. Well, I said, yeah, it would fire up, but it wouldn't make any power.
Right.
That's only half the problem.
By the way,
that was a shop that did that.
John Clem just wrote, but he's on his way home from a funeral, and he should be back in about 45 minutes.
Ouch. I hate that for him.
Yeah, that's not good.
Oh, yeah. Another funeral, huh?
Yeah, I know. And I mean, my neighbor, the wife there, she died Monday evening. She's been having cancer. And, I've been mowing the lawn over there for a good part of 3 weeks now. So, yeah.
So Kenny stepped out because he's getting vulgar again, or what?
Kenny's bringing out the sledge, for the fine
I don't
adjustment. I'll be right back, guys.
Kenny's, I think, pulled out the bigger hammer here. So
there you go. Yeah.
Yes. Sorry to be late, guys. I had to a guy a mower I fixed to his texted me. He says, hey, I got a new mower. Do you want my old one? And I said, I can't say no to stuff like that. And I said, sure. Like I need another lawnmower, like a hole in the head. Yeah. And he says, cool. It's on the street. And I'm like, oh crap. That means I need to come get it now. So, so I go over there and he's bought himself an Ego, which is fine. And I told him, I said, his yard is so tiny and small. an ego's probably, and actually the
Well-
egos now are probably better than the egos 5 years ago. And I told him, I said, just pay attention to your owner's manual on your battery maintenance, and you'll probably get many good years out of that thing. So hopefully it's okay. But it had a Honda mower, a Honda engine on it. It's old Troy built, and I hadn't seen it in a couple of years, and I would tune it up like every couple of years, like 2 or 3 years for him. Sharpen the blade, replace this, replace that, and I had forgotten that it was a Troy built, and it's got all these complicated, hand levers, and I didn't remember any of that, But if anything, it's got a good motor on it, so I could salvage that. It's in the worst shape I've ever seen it in, but hey, he got a nice work out of it.
I don't know if Kenny knows it, but he was muted. He's muted or something because he was talking and nothing was coming out.
Yeah, Kenny.
And
he's
let
not.
me know.
Oh yes, he is muted. Yes.
Yeah,
I think he muted himself.
No.
No sound. Are you out of batteries or?
I don't know. So he was muted, but he's unmuted himself. But that's okay.
Yeah, but you still can't hear him.
Yeah, still can't hear you, Kenny.
And let me know when you want to talk about the rigid tools.
Rigid screwdriver.
Oh, tell us about rigid. I mean, in all honesty, I known that when I replaced my little set right here a couple of years ago, I kind of like that idea of the battery. But again, the amount of time I use it, man, I'm still on the first set of batteries from that little Porter cable from 12 years ago. You know what I mean? Because I just don't use it that often. So anyway, but I like the idea of that lifetime warranty.
You're good.
Yeah, you're good now, Ken.
Speak again.
No, so my kid's at the dealer, right, Eleanor, and I sent him up there for a battery cable and for an air filter for this tractor, okay? So, of course, they don't have any pre-made cables. So my kid's freaking out, like, what do I do? What do I do? So Justin gets on the phone. He goes, I said, I don't care about the length. I just need, he goes, I don't have anything pre-made. I go, well, can you just give me the cable and ends? I'll crimp it myself. He goes, yeah. So, whatever.
Yeah.
Or you could have come to Eliminator Performance and we got it all.
Oh,
I got to get my passport. That's the thing.
We got a new hydraulic.
Jake bought a beauty. Yeah.
Years ago, I just come over. Now I got to get a passport to come see you.
Yeah. If he came over my house,
Kenny, talking about that. Where is your dang on passport?
I know. Something happened. Maybe I'm on a no-fly list. I don't know.
Mine's due, and I don't even know if I'm going to renew it because I.
Well, no. You better renew it because if you don't, it's a pain in the ass. Trust me.
Oh well, I know everything's a pain in the ass over here.
No, I'm saying like with me, I didn't. Just go to Canada. I'm saying just to go to Canada. You need it now. You never used to.
If I go in my car an hour and a half later, I'll need my passport.
Yeah, we never used to need it for Canada. Now we do.
We got a customer he's dual citizen. He lives in Port Colborne and he's got another place in Buffalo. So he went to a yard sale. He bought a riding mower. It needed a pulley. So he put it in his van and he was bringing it over to us to put a pulley on. He gets to the border and they want to know proof of sale. He calls Jake and he says, just the paperwork that I got to do to get proof of sale is going to cost me $125, he says.
Wow.
Yep.
Then they want to charge him duty and all this other crap to bring the thing over here. And then when he takes it back, he can get duty and shit back or something. It's a real mess. So anyways, he said it's sitting at my place, not running.
Jesus.
Well, when you become our 51st state, you know what? You won't have that.
Yeah.
Let's not go there.
No, let's not.
Anyways, Stella and gang, it was 23 years ago on the 75th anniversary of Rigid Tools that Lori and I were at Home Depot and we were shopping for something, and I walked by this great big sign. It says 75th anniversary, drill, impact driver, 2 batteries, a charger, $150, lifetime warranty, includes batteries. So me, I don't believe this, right? I says, there's no way anybody's going to warranty batteries, like nobody. in the meantime, prior to this, we had been using Makitas, and they were 12-volt battery impact driver and drill. You would get them for $129 when they went on sale. But if you wanted to buy a battery, it was $120. If you wanted to buy a charger, it was like $50, $60. So they would last about, I'm going to say they lasted about 5 years. And we'd need a new battery. So we'd just go and buy a whole new set of Makita drills. And again, 5 years later, they're shot again. And we got to, spend another $129. So I go up to the guy that's in the tool department. And I said, this includes everything, service, batteries, everything. He said, yeah, lifetime. So I said,
register it.
Yes, I'm sold. So I said, what do I got to do to register it? And he said, it's simple. You just go on the computer and it takes you 5 minutes. You put in the serial numbers and you're registered, and it'll be on like in your file. And then you don't need your receipts or nothing. Beautiful. I get the tools. They got 12-volt batteries in them. And 13 years later, my batteries are not taking a charge. So I take the canvas bag, and the dealer in St. Catharines, which is about 40, half hour away, they tell me I got to bring everything. So I take everything there. 2 weeks later, they called me up, say everything's ready. I go back there. I get my same drill, my same impact driver, the same charger, but I get two 18-volt batteries because they don't make the 12s anymore. So beautiful. Now the tools are a little heavier now because these are bigger batteries. Right. So now I go on the computer and I register those two batteries. Re-register them because now they still carry lifetime warranty.
Right.
Wow.
10 years. Those 18-volt batteries lasted. Me and Jake are out there, and we got to keep recharging the batteries. And I said to him, you know what? These are lifetime warranty. I'm going to call them up and tell them I'm bringing them down. They tell me bring them down. They said it might be a while because they've got some backlog of deliveries and everything with rigid. So it might be more than 2 weeks. And I think it was like 3 weeks. They called up and they said, come on and get your stuff. Well, just a minute.
But the thing is, it's weird because Rigid is owned by TTI, same company that owns Milwaukee and Ryobi.
Really?
I thought Emerson owned Rigid.
No.
Interesting.
TTI.
No.
Well, unfortunately, my experience with a lot of that replacement stuff is that's the end of your lifetime warranty.
Yes.
Because the new one, it's like, oh no, we're not gonna, but that's, but that's good to know. I mean, if I used it more, I'd probably do that.
Craftsman did that. All the stuff that was warranted for lifetime, they give you a new product, but that new product was not warranted.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The lifetime of the tool.
Can you do?
Right.
No, the Skill brand that I advertise for, 5 years on all brushless machines, 3 years on all batteries.
Does it sound bad?
I think that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
For a brand that is cheaper than Makita, Milwaukee, and DeWalt.
Well, what Sears used to do, Craftsman, you'd walk in there and say, hey, my ratchet is no good, and I did have a bad ratchet, and they would just reach under the counter and pull you up a refurbished one. And the last one I got, I don't know if you can see that or not, but all the chrome. This had a lot of good use on it. Whoever had this is a warranty replacement. And
they had the refurb drawer. Yeah.
And they just, they obviously just replaced, all the guts inside of here and sent it to Sears. And I was like, you can't beat that with a stick, in all honesty.
The ones the only thing I do in my ratchets, the ones I use to take bowls of carburetors where they get drenched in gasoline.
Mm-hmm.
Every year, I'll take them apart, clean them, grease them up, put them back together, and I haven't had one. Sorry.
That's what I've been doing to take off bowl nuts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It works.
So
it does.
I had a Sears teardrop. I think that's the best Sears ratchet.
Yep.
I took it in. They gave me a replacement, and then I said, "What do you want to do with the old one?" And he says, "Oh, you can take that home." So I took it home. I ordered the little ball kit with the Who's It thinger.
Right.
And I got my rebuilt teardrop, and I got, yes, it's a Chinese one, but I got the Chinese one, and it's actually stood up. It's 5 years old.
I have a Chinese one, a small one, 1/4 inch, which is my favorite ratchet. And then last time I was in the States, I bought, what was it, Hank? 120 or 128 tooth or something.
Yeah, cool.
Super nice. A 1/4 inch and a 3/8. I don't use them. I still like my old one.
Yeah, there's a feel to them.
You
I'll
know.
be right back. I'm gonna see if there's coffee left.
Yep. And for some reason, you just stick with the one that feels the most comfortable. I will say though, those 120 or 28 tooth ones, they are nice.
Yeah.
They're not as slender as my other Craftsman, the old one. But there you go. That's a rigid.
Right. Well, these types of ratchets like that, I've actually gotten to the point where I think my preferred tool is like 80 or 90 teeth, because you get those 120, and if you'll break your tools, or you'll mess up the teeth inside it, because the teeth are so tiny. So the smaller stuff. So I like this.
Did you just flash a snap-on?
No, sir.
Oh, it just looked like it.
Oh, I don't care the light on this. It is a gear wrench.
Ah, that's a good brand too.
But it's only 84 tooth.
Wayne, you're muted, buddy.
Yeah. And in all honesty, I probably put too much torque on these little guys that I'm supposed to, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Hey, wait,
What-
Wayne.
what-
Wayne. I muted you. Hang on. There you go. I unmuted you
There you
now.
go.
Okay.
Hey, I recommend the Thecton 492 spark plug holder.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Wayne.
So here's the rigid drill we got. Brushless drill, 2 amp hour. Got 22 different speeds. It's a hammer drill plus a regular drill. Okay, like basically got the light over here on the bottom,
Yeah.
so it lights right up at the top. This tool alone, if you want to buy this tool, I think it's somewhere between $160 and $170 to buy it by its own, right?
Yeah, just tool only. Yeah.
Then we get the impact driver. Same thing. Beautiful. It's got the light on the bottom. Now, I can't believe that Rigid doesn't do more advertising. This is a brushless 1/4 impact driver. We got another 2 amp hour battery. So we got our canvas bag back. We got a new charger. We got the batteries. We got the drill. We got the impact driver. Jake said individually 160, 170, 120 a piece for each battery. And the charger was $50 plus tax. So if you add that up, it's over $700 to buy everything individually.
Oh yeah.
Rigid sells the kit in a canvas bag, not like a cheap cloth bag. I mean, this thing's like what Carhartt makes. You know what I mean? It's solid canvas.
Yeah.
$299 plus 13% HST. So for $340, you can get all of these tools with batteries and a charger. And I think the drill comes with 6 amp hour instead of the 2.
Yeah.
Naturally, because they're giving us these free, I think they just put 2s on both of them, right?
Right.
But for $299 or $340 Canadian, convert that to American and see what you'd pay in the States for it. It'd be peanuts.
About $180, $170, $180.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
and you'd get the whole kit. But if you ever look, I've never seen a Rigid advertisement.
No.
No.
And I actually went on their website today, and they don't have as much of a line of tools
Right.
like Makita. They have an oscillating saw, maybe a little radial saw, and a couple of drills and whatnot, but they don't have like the vacuum cleaners and the blah, blah, all that sort of mess that everyone else has. That's what's limiting
They
them.
do have a
So-
vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, so basically over 23 years, I've got brand new tools with brand new batteries and a charger. I'm 76. If these batteries last 10 and I'm 86, they're still warranted. So Jake will end up with another set of batteries. And maybe they won't be making the 2 amp hour ones anymore, and they'll boost them up, and then he gets an upgrade on the batteries. So you just can't beat Rigid if you want a piece of equipment with
But-
that kind of warranty, nobody does this kind of
But
warranty.
what I always think is that when you got a company like TTI, they got their own factory, right? And they're
Yeah.
pumping out. So they have a line for Ryobi, they have a line for Rigid, and they have a line for Milwaukee. How much difference is there? I mean, technically, inside. I mean, it's to me, it's just a. I know that Skill is owned by a company called Chevron, not Chevron, but Chevron. They make tools for Hilti. They make tools for Metabo. They make tools for blah, blah, blah. I mean, how different are they? It'd be interesting to open a setup and see them inside because.
Well, that's why I like watching Torque Test Channel. Do you ever watch that guy?
Yeah.
They buy a lot of this stuff. They actually don't get much stuff sent to them for free, but they tear into this stuff and they got the line on, wow, this looks just like a this or a that or whatnot. So
the triggers and the engine and the drill are a little different,
They are,
but the mechanics are the same.
Yeah.
Powder
They are-
gears and stuff.
I know that there are two major manufacturers of the little brushless motors in the world. There's a lot of small ones for all the cheapo stuff, but there are two major ones. Chevron, that makes Skill, is one of them. They make motors for everybody who wants to buy them. And then there's another company, and it might be TTI, but I'm not sure. But I can't believe that TTI would take a little motor and say, let's dumb this down because it goes into an Ryobi.
no,
I don't think that happens.
no, they're just dumbing down the rest of it.
Yeah, they may say like mute.
Yeah,
Thank you.
they have heat sinks in them. They
Sorry.
have, like I said, the triggers, that they cheapen out on a few things,
Right.
to make the price cheaper. That's all.
Yeah, it's
That
like
looks like it would fit my Black & Deckers, would it? From the Rigid?
Probably.
the Rigid. I don't know, Bruce.
It looks really close. I'm not in the garage.
Well, Hank, that's what we used to call value engineering when
Yeah.
I was in the contracting business. That's called value engineering.
Exactly.
But
I
I mean-
wonder
but I
if the
mean-
Milwaukees would fit on here too. I don't know.
Most likely not. That's
No,
I
you
don't
gotta-
think it's Milwaukee.
You got to look at the plastics too, because
Yeah.
you got different kinds of plastics, harder and softer and whatever.
Like they got a beautiful release built into the battery here. It's like two gigantic toggles that you pull to release it.
Right.
Yeah.
Push down the lip.
But I mean, the Black & Decker, which is owned by Stanley Black & Decker, was owns DeWalt. I mean, so how much difference is there between a DeWalt and a Black
Well,
& Decker?
There is a big difference in DeWalt. You can buy DeWalt that's industrial strength, and then
Yeah.
you got residential.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Right.
you got
The
cheapo
homeowner
stuff.
version.
Yeah,
Right.
the homeowner, they suck. They are
Yeah.
really bad.
So I mean,
Well,
there is
I've
a
been-
difference. That's why it's cheaper.
I've been watching a very interesting channel. He's getting more views and whatnot, but I think it's called Balinator or something like that. He goes into the history of all these tools,
Oh,
and he goes back and looks up all these old patents for stuff. It's very, very interesting. If I can
Yeah.
find a link, I'll post it for you guys. But
Yeah.
but he goes into like, so and so forth, bought out so and so forth, and he has some good animations and whatnot. It's an interesting channel.
There's a channel that has that spider web diagram of who owns who.
Yes.
And I'm like, you get dizzy because they're
Yep.
all over I mean, Bosch owns like 10 different tool brands, and TTI owns like 6.
Right.
Chevron has that brand Ego
Yes.
for Mower. That's Chevron too, same as Skill, and you get dizzy. Stanley Black & Decker owns everything, MTD and all DeWalt, and it's crazy.
Yeah, this guy's channel is I can't type anything because I can't get comments going, but it's called Balinator, Balinator. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Looks like his latest is the
What's
full
his name?
story on SK Tools.
I'll be right back.
Ray McCarthy says that DeWalt batteries will fit Mac tools. That's because
Yeah.
DeWalt makes Mac tools.
Yep.
Got to check what the chubby butcher needs.
Yes.
Sweet.
Go check what the. Oh man, he makes good food.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can, Al.
Battery adapters. Yeah.
Yeah. You can get those.
I've got some cheap Kawasaki ones, and they're the old type. They're not the
But
lithium ion.
you used to have Kawasaki drills, Bruce, didn't you?
I still do, but now there was a recall on one of them, and that serial number brand started a fire. So I'm actually looking to see if I can convert to another kind of a battery.
Yeah.
It's a recall. Like, don't use it.
Yeah. But does that mean if you send it in, you get another?
I don't. Gosh, maybe I should look into it a little further.
Mm.
You know.
I used to have from my dad. I remember when I was a kid, he had a Sunbeam drill, and
Yeah.
and man, that was when I was a little kid, it was the funnest thing in the world because it came in a metal case. And after he passed away, and I was cleaning out all the house, I was like, cool, Sunbeam, and I opened it, it wasn't in there.
Oh.
Oh well.
Yeah,
Well, that's
yeah,
like-
that's right, Rusted.
Makita.
Skid used to be owned by Bosch. They sort of hammered it down badly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the Makita had those long handle ones where the long battery that you put in there was
Yes, that's what mine had.
yeah,
9 volt.
yeah.
And they were, they had some torque because they were well designed. Not much speed.
No. But yeah, those were used on the job site a lot. And
I bet
then,
you those batteries
everything
lasted
else-
10 years. As long as that was the old batteries where you had to drain them dead and then charge them up. Not like
Yeah.
the new ones.
But what is it? Voltage is what gives you torque. Amp hours is what gives you runtime.
Well, that's watts. It's both together.
Yeah, but it
I
gets
don't know.
converted.
All the electricity I've had in my life, and I really still don't know.
Well, you had fun today when Hank and David helped me out on an electrical problem today. You would have
I didn't realize this stream started a half hour early.
neither
Yeah.
did I.
It's
Neither
all right.
did I.
I knew, and I was still late.
And for
She make
anybody
a
out there that
Yeah.
wants that thinks that they're going to get a good deal on an ignition coil from China, give your head a shake. We ordered. Customer said, "What's ignition coil for Kawasaki?" So we checked it out. It's like $132 plus tax, right, for the ignition coil. He says, "Can you get one online? Is it cheaper?" Jake said, "Yeah, but there's no guarantee. The thing might last you a week. It might last you a year. We've heard there's a lot of issues with them." So Jake gave him the price. He said, "Order the one." Jake said, "It'll be here the next day." We order it. Looks the same. Go to put it on. It's touching the magnets, and the holes don't line up end for end. The holes are too far back. And this thing had a 5-star rating, which only means that the guy sells a lot of them. It don't mean that they fit. So Jake's got to
paid reviews.
Yeah, he's got to send it back now. You got to go through that crap of sending it back and everything, and say, "Listen, the holes are in the wrong position. It looks identical." So then we call him up, and this is the worst thing. We tell him, "Look, instead of getting that one, we'll get you one from Stens. Stens has 2 in stock." We get the one from Stens. Jake looks at it and he says, "Hey, this don't look right." And I said, "What?" He said, "Look at it. It looks like
Same
there's a piece of it looks like there's a piece of gasket material stuck between the laminations, right? Like somewhere in manufacturing or whatever, that something got jammed between the laminations." But anyways, I said, "Let's see if it fits." So we put it on. Sure enough, it's perfect. It's exactly what we need. It's the right coil. Now we go and we do the ohm test with it. He pulls out the fluke. It's open. It's no good on the primary. So now we got to call, get credit. And then we said, "Do you still have the other one in stock? They're shipping it out. We're supposed to have it here on Monday."
Yeah.
Well, I have I just repaired a coil that was on a Husqvarna, and I remembered seeing a video a long time ago that talked about sometimes there's electronics inside of these small engine coils, and you are
sometimes-
going to get nothing on the primary, even though you can check the secondary. So I basically sort of did a little video on that. I haven't edited it together yet, but that's
Some of
something
them
that I always forget about when I'm doing this. Oh
Some
yeah.
of them have timing advance
Yes.
as part of emissions reduction.
Yes.
So they run, and you can't measure those. It's
And
not.
some
Yeah.
of them have resistors inside the boot, like the Hondas.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
had a coil that was bad, but we took the boot off, tested the boot. The boot had too much resistance. We put a new Honda boot on it. Thing fired right up.
Oh, the
It was
boot on the
boot
plug?
that was no good.
The boot
Yeah,
on the plug?
because they're where's one? I got one
Oh,
laying
yeah,
around
they're
right
usually
here
about
somewhere.
5,000 ohms.
Yeah, and I think this thing was reading something like 11 or 12. Right? It was just
Well,
too
this
much
is a
resistance in the boot.
LBO.
I think you're right, Bruce. I think it is. The spec is 5,000 ohms on that boot.
I know the Briggs are.
Yeah, on NGKs. I don't know if
Yeah.
you can see that or not. The 5 is 5.
Yeah.
If it had a LBO1, that would be 1 ohm, 5 ohm.
5,000
So that's a resistor cap. That's an NGK one.
Okay. Yeah.
It's for a scooter.
Oh, T-Bone needs a carburetor.
And I need another beer, so I'll be right back.
But in all honesty, the whole thing with the resistors, that was a thing back in the 1900s that you would mess up your neighbor's AM radio or whatnot.
Yeah.
So that's why you got resistor plugs or resistor boots. And the only time I've found that it really makes a difference or not is some on old sketchy, points and condenser. You can, if you have a resistor plug and a resistor boot, you can create too much resistance in there, which makes it hard to get those to start. That's the only time I've run into a problem.
If you had a heart problem and you got
Yes, you are right
Yes.
about that as well. Absolutely. Sorry, Kenny, are you trying to talk to us? I had to mute you because the motor engine. Here, I just unmuted you.
That's right.
Kenny, what you up to?
I don't know.
Huh? No, I got
No,
Oh, yeah.
I was just saying I had to mute you earlier when you started the engine. So
air filter. I'll tell you a story. I had a customer with this exact same tractor. You there?
Yep.
And he said it wouldn't start, wouldn't run right, wouldn't start. Well, when you buy these, sometimes these are stuffed inside.
Yeah.
Oh
He
dear.
didn't realize it. He put it on. He starved the engine.
Yeah.
And it actually sucked it into the intake, and it was holding the throttle butterfly open.
I was thinking, Kenny, Super Clean. They only have T-shirts in extra small.
Ooh.
Not when I got it.
Klaus, it's like this, man.
Hey, for the amount of time I wear it, they've gotten some good advertising. You know what I really like the best out of all their products, though? I like their Speedy Dry. Their absorbent.
Yeah.
I really like their absorbent. It's
Kitty
expensive
litter.
as shit. No, it is. It's very expensive. Well, no, we've got Blue Buffalo, which is like the most expensive litter you can buy. But for some reason, my cat thinks it's like a fucking drug, and he loves it. So we buy it. But I tell you, it works
Dude,
really good
you
on
got to
oil.
go to Tractor Supply and just get pine pellets. $8 for a 40-pound bag.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, really?
Do that.
So,
For
Kitty,
what?
No, but what we used to
you're not oiling that pre-filter? Just asking.
No.
No.
Well, Briggs says do not oil this one.
No.
No, you just use dirty, black hands with grease.
The best thing though for oil spills is rice ash. That's what they use at the drag strip. Okay, it's the fastest thing. Problem is you have to wear goggles. It will dry out your eyes. That's how absorbent it is. Right? It's burnt rice hulls.
Keep it away from my beer.
It's called rice ash.
Keep it away from my beer.
No, seriously, that's what they use at the drag strip. It's the best. It's the fastest absorbent, rice ash.
But he's right. The Super Clean oil absorbent is really good.
I do like it, yeah. But it was expensive. It was like $7 for like a gallon container.
Yeah. but it works great.
It does.
Uh,
You know what
But-
pisses me off? Why the hell does Briggs offer this? Why not just make it one size, guys? Really? Okay, really? I
There's
got
all
6 of
kinds-
these. I got 6 of these in inventory. I got none of these in inventory.
There's all kinds of those different size
Oh.
tubular.
Oh yeah.
It's ridiculous. Make it
Yeah.
one size. Idiots.
Why? Then they won't sell you an extra filter. It's pretty smart.
No, he's looking for a blade now.
Who, Chubby?
Yeah. No, is he really number one customer of Eliminator Performance? Listen, I'll tell him to watch the video. I will say he's likely number one. Like if I get like I just picked up, what I pick up? 16 lawnmowers.
Sweet.
And out of the 16 lawnmowers I got from my scrapper buddy, I said, how many mowers you want? So like he'll just come and I'll make $5 or something off a mower, and then he'll buy all the parts off us, right? And he's been selling a mower a day.
Nice.
So right now he's out there, he needs it. There comes a carburetor. I said he's got a pail that he just brought over because I broke taking out a pilot jet out of a Honda carburetor. And if I went through my pails and boxes of carburetors, all those plastic pilot jets, they're all gone. They're all missing, right? Because I've needed them and I've used them someplace else. So anyways, I break this one on a weed eater that's got like a Honda clone, a Power More or whatever on it. And I need that. So he brings over his pail of carburetors. The first 5 I look through, his pilot jets are gone. I finally hit one and it's the right diameter so it'll fit in. It's the right length, but there's different diameter ones. Some of them won't lock in. He had one. I drilled the main out to 18 thou, put it in, runs like a clock.
But is that the idle jet that has different?
Yeah, the idle jet.
Yeah, the little.
Yeah, if you don't have that cleaned out, it's going to hunt. So,
yeah.
and my mistake is I'll put it in the ultrasonic, and instead of pulling the micro drills out and drilling it out, you blow air through it and say, hallelujah, it's done. Nah, you got to drill them out. And you drill them out to 18 thou and not one hunts.
Yeah.
Now, I bought that set of O-rings that you bought, Stella, before Christmas, and I haven't had the opportunity to use one on that pilot.
She made me buy one too, just for reference.
And the cool thing about that was it came with these cute little tools that if you're not
Where did
careful,
those
you poke it
O-rings
right into
come
your
from?
finger and it comes out the other side.
Stella, what was the name of those O-rings?
It is this kit right here. Hang on a second. I'll pull it down for you.
And it's got the dot fiber for the driver on that O-ring.
And I found out today that I need another steel tool.
They sell them.
The little hex thing for adjusting carburetors on 4 mixes. I don't have that. I need that.
So
You got that on your wish list?
what I needed was
In my
to
inbox.
replace the O-rings on the.
Thank you.
Oh crap! Sorry. Trying to mute him.
Oh, that tractor moves now.
Can you make him go forward?
Oh, and shit! Now my compressor went off.
Oh boy.
But I'm not the only one with a very noisy compressor.
I got. How many of you have one of those vacuum operated oil evacuators?
Got one. Best thing we ever bought.
Mhm.
Yeah. I upgraded mine. I'm in with Vivor, at least sometimes. They like it. Sometimes they don't, but it doesn't matter. I have the one from Vivor. It's a metal tank. And it's a fuel ton size. It's about a 5-gallon tank.
Yeah.
That thing is a gem. You need to modify it a little bit. I put a silencer on the exhaust for the air because it was super loud. But that thing, compared to the plastic one, oh man, it's nice.
Yeah, ours hole. I forget how much ours hole's close. We bought it at Princess Auto. They had it on sale for regular price was $250 Canadian. They had it on sale for $200. We went and picked it up, and it's got different attachments with different size tubes.
Yeah.
It's got a silencer so that when you're creating the vacuum, it's nice and quiet.
Yeah.
And it just works like a charm.
That the one with the glass tube on the side?
Yeah. Tells you how much. Right now, I got to dump it because it's getting heavy to move, and I don't know how much the thing holds. It holds quite a bit.
Yeah. I think this one is about 5 gallons, something like that.
Yeah, that full, that would be heavy.
Yeah, it is, but it's got wheels on it.
Oh,
so
let's see, Stella.
So
Yeah,
this
that's
is a kit. Now, like I
that's
said,
exactly what
is-
she made me buy. Yeah.
right. It's
corner.
called TWWC, but you have to get the 10 kit.
10. Yeah.
They have multiple kits because what's important here is I believe it's the 3x1
Yeah.
is a lot of your small 2-stroke carburetors have an accelerator pump, okay? And that O-ring goes bad. The accelerator pump is deep inside of there. You actually have to pull out the throttle shaft to get to it. There's a little spring in there, so don't lose that. But that's the 3.1. And then I believe the Honda plastic
Right.
idle jets, sometimes they have 2 of these, and their other kits don't include one or both of these. I don't remember, but it's only the 10 kit that has a, and I can tell that because I can see which little packages I've opened up. I haven't even opened up those 2.
Yeah,
So I've
you're
only
using
used these
the
2.
3 and the 4, because that's I think what Kenny told me, 3 and a 4.
It looks like the 3 and the 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the 4 is what's on the Hondas, and it's the 3 that's on the a lot of I want to say it's on Zama carburetors. I don't know. It could be on Walbros as well. I don't know.
Well, most of them that I get, they need a smaller one on the bottom and a bigger one on top.
Oh, maybe that's it. Anyway, they have other kits, and the 1010 is the number of pieces. So they have a 1040 kit and a they don't have these particular sizes. You have to be really careful. But
so if I'm gonna Google it, I gotta Google TWCC 110 O-ring kit.
Yeah.
1010.
Okay.
And
you know what? All you have to do is use that kit once, and it's paid for.
It's paid for itself. Yeah. This and Wayne, I got this off of Amazon.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever put a link out for that anywhere, but I know it's available on Amazon. But this company, TWCC, they have multiple kits, and you'll find those. But it's only in the 1010 that has the sizes that you need.
Ray McCarthy, Stella, is asking if there's one for the Nicky car. Most likely,
I have no idea.
It's a 90-degree on the O-ring on the Nickies. It's not a round.
I wouldn't fool around with fitting the wrong type of O-ring into that. That's where your fuel leakage goes right into the crankcase.
I've made an executive decision in hobby motor. When a bad Nicky comes in, it gets replaced with whatever bricks sends instead.
Yeah, I hear you.
I am done with Nickies. I know that some people have success doing them. I am not one of them. And where the rebuild kit is half the cost of a new whatever bricks. I think they're Ruxing or something that replaces.
Yeah, Ruxing.
Yeah, and
Ruxing, whatever.
Yeah, something like that. And I'm telling you, I'm done with Nickies because yes, you may get them to run right. That is nice, good for you. Let's talk in 6 months.
Right.
Because that plastic warps, once it's been too hot or something, it goes. So, and the Ruxing is basically almost a copy of the old Walbros. Right. So, and they're much simpler and much more reliable.
Here's that coil right there that I took out. Because actually you might have gone to get a beer. When we were talking about coils, I just realized it was sitting right here. About some coils have the electronics in there. So I will never get a reading on the primary on this guy, but secondary, was the problem on here. So.
No, but it's just that sometimes, in the comments on my channel, I get some stick for just replacing a carburetor. But I have to say, I mean, yeah, if you're doing it for yourself, knock yourself out. Spend all the time you want on getting.
If somebody's waiting on the product.
If you're doing it for someone else and it has to run for the next 50 hours or 12 months, get a new one.
It's just not worth the comebacks. I don't want stuff to show back up again.
No, and it's. I mean, I fell in myself. I was working on a Steel FS130, which is a 4-mix engine, and it's an older one. And I ordered a new carb from Steel, and through my supplier. And first of all, it took 3 weeks to get here. And then when it came, it wasn't the right carburetor. So I called my supplier and said, "Give me the number for Steel." You're not supposed. I don't care. Give me the number.
Yeah,
okay,
give me the number.
Yeah, I called them up and said, "Guys, what the hell are you doing?" We always send this one out because the old one is discontinued. I said, "That's nice. It doesn't fit."
Right.
The connection to the throttle cable and there's some breather thing doesn't fit. So, okay, yeah, we're sorry about that, but that's the only one we have to. You got a tech I can talk to? And I got a hold of a tech. Sometimes you got to just bully your way through, and I did. And the tech said, "You know what, Klaus? I get you. You cannot use that carburetor you just bought. It's not happening." I said, "What the heck do I do?" I said, "Let me give you a trick." And that was the accelerator pump. He says, "Do this, do that." I guarantee you, because the accelerator pump, when I do carb rebuilds, the accelerator pump is not part of it.
Right.
So
like I said, I had no idea of such a thing because I did everything on this machine. New kit, new everything, clean, blah, 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 and it still had problems.
And he said, "You do this, I will, if it does not run, we'll make a full refund for you." I said, "I hope you'll do a full refund anyways." He said, "I don't know. Sometimes that's just policy." So okay, I did it. So now I have a carburetor that I can't use. It's worth about $120. And I fixed the old carburetor. It runs great.
With an O-ring.
And they're not refunding you for
not even though he says, "Do this, do that, clean that. Don't use carb spray. Use a brake clean."
Right.
Do this. It will come back. And he says, and it did. It came back.
Wow.
So you never got refunded for the original one that doesn't fit? See, they should refund you.
No, I mean, what you got to realize about Steel, other than they make great products, is that they are just as arrogant as Makita.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, super arrogant. Getting a claim through to Steel and Makita is like close to impossible. No, it's not impossible, but it takes a lot of work. And some people just give up and say, "Oh, fuck it. Screw it." And then,
it's like the John Deere with their farm tractors, where something goes wrong with the computer system. You got to wait 3-4 days for our tech to get out there with a computer to find out what your situation is. And I'm telling you, got to pull in his crop, right?
I'm telling you, if John Deere doesn't get that under control, they're going to go down.
Yeah. Well, the same thing's happening now with supposedly the Generac household natural gas generators. They've got all kinds of computer information built into them now, and there's a lot of faults showing up, but you need the tech to show up in order to reset it, or you can't fix it yourself.
Well, so there's a lot of stink right now about right to repair laws, and John Deere just got stuck into one of those.
All of a sudden, you're without power. You're freezing in your house. You don't have the luxury of having a wood stove or a natural gas fireplace in the basement.
I think this is an issue for the legislators, because I don't know how it is in the States or in Canada, but in the European Union, when it comes to cars, there is a right to repair.
Yes.
If you go to an independent mechanic that has bought access to, say, Ford or Toyota, so he can diagnose a machine or a car, and he does it right. He uses the right parts. They don't have to be OEM.
Right.
He uses the right parts. He does this. Warranty is still valid on the car. And we have that for cars. Why don't we have that for tractors? Why don't we have that for...
and again, that's a big stink. Do you ever watch, what was it, the old Top Gun, Jeremy Clarkson? He's Jeremy Clarkson's farm, I think. Yeah, and he ran into that problem. He's doing wheat. And you have to bring that stuff in at like 11% moisture or something or other.
Otherwise,
and you got a rainstorm coming in, and you can ruin your entire crop or wait 2 weeks for somebody to come out there and fix your tractor. He said it, and people act like, take an Uber. That don't work for a farmer,
No, if you can't fix it with baling wire.
Exactly.
And that's how they are. They can't wait. I mean, and and I think if John Deere doesn't get this under control.
Well, you guys might remember back in the day when cars were just coming out with the OBD-I or the OBD1 connectors, and everybody was saying, "Oh my God, I can't scan my engine for codes, and I don't know what to do." Well, now it's back, but even with way more payback or payout.
If you want to, I mean, to me, whatever comes out of an OBD is voodoo to me. I don't get it. It's just, but if you want to watch someone who's actually explaining, watch Wes work.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely. I watch that channel. It's a good channel.
It is a super channel, and the guy is so down to earth, and he is so smart. But he's so down to earth, and he will take you through. Oh, it does that, and that connects to that, and you can like that makes sense now that you say it. Because if I just looked at the number, go like, yeah, that's nice.
But that's what we had back then when you had an OBDI connector and you plugged it into the dash and it gave you a 6PQ4.
Yeah.
Well, what's a guy standing in his garage going to do with a 6? Because you only had was the label. You didn't have the internet. You just had books. Well, now you just type it in to Google.
Yeah. So I posted this on my Instagram feed, like 2 years ago. And this is Right to Repair Advocates. This has been going on. John Deere's been in court about this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And the thing is, I don't understand John Deere because they're not going to pick up that much business for their vendors or their dealers by doing this. Because the guy that never calls the dealer will never call the dealer. He'll buy another tractor.
Right.
And it won't be green. And it's not going to be green.
But not one of these $100,000 things. No, he's not going to buy another one of those. He's just stuck in the mud, basically.
I was buying a fuel pump or something for my little John Deere, right? And I'm standing in line. It's $110 or some stupid thing. And the gentleman in front of me is aging. He's older than I was. And the guy at the computer desk, sales desk, handed him a repair tag for $84,000 to fix the steering on his John Deere tractor.
Wow.
And you know what? I think he already knew what the amount was because he never flinched. Yeah. And but you can imagine what he was thinking when he got home and talking to his wife that night.
My Husqvarna dealer also sells tractors. They're European brands. It doesn't matter. But when I was there was a farmer in front of me, and he was not happy. That was right in the middle of COVID. There was a let up during the summer, so that's why I was there. We were all masked up, and he has an issue with the right front knuckle. There's something in that gearing thing that's gone wrong, and the guy at the dealer says, "Yes, this was in May. We can have this for you first week of September."
Yeah.
And this is a farmer that had a fairly new tractor. It was about 6 or 8 months old. He needed it for harvest. Yeah, well, let's talk back to first week of September. Have a good one. Bye-bye. I mean, he was
livid.
He was. You could tell that this is probably the last time he's walking in that door ever.
Yep.
Well, I don't know.
And this was Mercer Ferguson. It's a brand name tractor, right? So yeah.
I don't know if you guys have what's called certified mowers over there. We have them in Canada. The
Yeah,
Canadian
we do.
Tire sells them. But anyways, they're
What do
basically
you call, Wayne, what's a certified mower?
well, that's the name of the brand. They're called
okay.
certified, right?
Okay.
So
we don't.
Generators
the
too.
low end mower, right? And-
Certified to be a piece of junk.
yeah,
Sorry.
well, yeah, actually. And what
Yeah.
they do is they have this oblong paper filter that has a very narrow pre-filter around it. Canadian Tire sells that filter for $25 plus 13%.
Ooh.
Okay. I can order that filter from Canada Power Tech. It's a Husqvarna, so it also goes on a Husqvarna, one of their engines, but it's a Husqvarna filter.
It's a long
$5.99 plus HST, but they're always out of stock. But then I can go to MTD and I can order it for $10.99.
It's
And
a long
Canadian-
it's a long sin engine.
Yeah, it could be.
It
Long
is.
center,
It
yeah.
is.
So that certified is basically, you know, the champion generators that we
Yeah.
once scoffed at, and now they're good. Well,
Yeah.
this is certified as a clone of the champion generator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you need anything, the worst thing that's happening is like a lot of the customers we're getting now. This year has been brutal with new customers. Like there's so many people that have referred Jake to do the work, and you know they're just happy that their equipment's still running. So all these new customers are coming. They've got brand new machines, and they're saying, number one, why didn't like the first thing you get is why doesn't anybody tell me this when I buy it? For example, you got to order your parts from Quebec from a company called McCann Air, and it's going to be $15 in shipping plus whatever the part is. And you're going to have to go online or you're going to have to call them up to get the parts diagram to know what you need. And a lot of times, if you don't get the parts diagram, they're going to send you the wrong parts.
Yeah.
And then you got to pay for shipping back to them because they won't pay for shipping back. But nobody tells anybody, like the big thing is nobody tells anybody to clean their air filters every year or check their air filter at the end of the fall.
Well,
Clean the bottom of their jack.
Wayne, they do tell you. All you have to do is read it.
Well, yes, but Jake was recently at a hardware store, and a guy was buying a mower that was on display, and the guy happened to say to the guy that was selling it, said, "Oh, does this mower have oil in it?" And the guy said, "Oh yeah, all our display models have oil in it." And he undid the oil cap, and he said, "Yeah, it's got oil in it." And Jake was standing there, and Jake said to the guy, "If I was you, I'd go get a paper towel or something, wipe it off, and check it again." And the guy says, "What are you talking about?" He says, "I do this for a living. I repair equipment. When they break in the engine, it's got oil in it. Before they ship it, they drain it out, and the stick's always got oil on it. So you better recheck it." So the guy said, "You know what? I'll recheck it. But all our displays models got oil in it." So he goes and gets a rag. He wipes it off. He sticks it. He says, "Oh, I guess this one doesn't have oil in it."
But I mean, honestly, guys, if you get what you pay for, you go to a box store, you get what you pay for, and that includes the service and the knowledge of whoever's out. If you go to a dealer, that will never happen at a dealer.
No,
because
at a dealer, you're going to get a service mower.
Yeah, so you go to a box store, you roll the dice, and you save your money, and you're happy, but expect something like this to happen.
But you guys remember when we were all in our early 20s, we didn't have enough money to change our mind.
Yeah.
So you're going to try and get the cheapest.
Yeah.
I mean, you got kids,
but it's a life
payments,
lesson.
house payments.
Yeah, it's a life lesson. I mean, it really is.
I never had a new mower until I was 35 years old.
Yeah. If you want to get away with the cheapest of the cheapest, you better know what you're talking about. Otherwise, I mean, I have people coming to me. They just bought a tractor online and at Craigslist or whatever it's called, and they come to me and say, "Can you fix this up so it's good and ready?" I said, "Sure." And I do that, and I replace every squeaky pulley and every belt that looks funny, and replace blades and housings and all that stuff. This is now in a good shape, and they come and they pick it up. So how much is it? It's this much. Go, oh, that's about as much as I paid for it. Okay.
Yeah.
Should have bought a serviced one.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, but in their defense, people don't know what they don't know. I mean, exactly. They don't. But I have this thing. If you don't know what you don't know, Craigslist is not the place for you to go shopping.
That's true.
Yeah. And while we were on this live stream, that one phone call I got where you muted me, that was a guy that we sold a mower to years ago. It's likely, I'm going to guess it's somewhere between 6 and 8 years ago. He bought this riding mower. It's never been back here for service. And he just showed up the other day and he said to Jake, he sees the engine. Well, I've got exactly the engine that he needs in the shop, right? Exactly the engine he needs, fully serviced, $250. Take your engine off, put this one on, plug all the wires in, everything's good, bada bing, bada bang, you're good for $250, do the work yourself. The guy says, I don't know, he's humming and hawing. So he just called me during this live stream and he said, hey, Wayne, he says, I'm over here with a guy and he's got a riding mower for sale. It's got a Coil engine in it. Are they any good? Well, I don't know what kind of engine it is. I said, how old is this engine? He said, oh, it's a pretty old machine, but it runs and it drives really good. I said, well, the Coilers, if it's a Courage, you could develop a crack. If the head bolts aren't tightened down, they're notorious from leaking from the overhead valve gaskets. So the first thing you want to do, I said, is take a look at the frame. And if you see oil all over the frame, don't buy it.
Yeah.
But if you need me to come with you to look at it, like if I got time, I'll come and look at it with you and go over it. But I said, you're getting a used machine that isn't serviced at all. So then you're going to bring it here, tell us to service it. We're going to say, oh, look, I told you to look for this crack right here, but you don't know where to look.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I do the Kohler service bulletin fix for the loose engine bolts. I do that for $100 if it hasn't developed a leak. If it has developed a leak and I have to take it off and replace the gasket, it's $150.
Yeah.
And I tell people,
you put Loctite on the bolts, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And people go, oh, is that necessary? I said, I don't know. If one of your bolts come loose, it's necessary.
Yeah.
You're gonna lose the engine.
Yeah.
I don't do it as default. Every time I see a Kohler, I don't rip it apart and do that. I don't. I tell people, have you ever had this done? And no one has it done. Husqvarna has never recommunicated the service bulletin from Kohler on this issue to any dealers ever.
Well, they're trying to avoid a liability issue.
I mean, there's 2 years, warranty's out, and your problem.
Right.
Yeah, and on the Coilers, they still sell the cork overhead valve gaskets, but there is a bulletin note that the way to do it is to use RTV and don't use the cork gasket.
And you use RTV on the cover side. That's it. And it works. I mean, and then follow the tightening torque.
Yeah.
Because people it's like in an old car where they had cork gaskets for the valve covers. You over tighten them, they leak. And it's the same thing. You follow the torque, it does not leak. I mean, the ones I've had them come back year on year, they don't leak. There's nothing there.
I think I saw Tom Dolby had one up on his lift where when he got it in, somebody had broken the overhead valve bolt, like they had snapped one off, and he tried to drill it out, and he couldn't get his drill to bite through it to drill it out, so he just put the RTV to her, put it back together, and minus the one bolt. So I don't know how it worked out for him.
I've seen a pro here on YouTube that actually welds it.
Oh, Mr. Swede, for $30, go for it.
Yeah, the only coil alone's worth it.
Yeah, just the only cylinder mower I've ever seen or touched is the old-fashioned, that kind.
But Swede,
modern kind that doesn't use fuel.
Yeah.
One thing, put your hand on the real axle. Stick your hand in there and do like this. if it's loose, don't buy it. Trust me, don't buy it. If they have come loose at some point, the thing wobbles, and that means that the whole thing is off. So when you're doing to replace the bearings in it, the whole reel is off and the blade is off, don't go there.
I don't know. There's at least $30 worth of parts in that thing.
Yeah.
Well, could be. Yeah. If you're into those, then yes. Yeah. We have them here on the brand. They were made here in Denmark years back. They don't do that anymore, and they were really good mowers. But when you get them now, you put your hand on, you rock it. If it's rocky and the bearing has failed for a while, don't touch it. It's only going to cost you a lot of money on parts you can't get. So,
Bruce, when we were young, Bruce, the lawnmowers we were buying, if we would have taken care of them and changed the oil, they would still be going today.
Well, my first new lawnmower lasted for 28 years, and I got a double lot.
Yeah.
And the next one was I used Honda, and I'm still using it 14 years later.
Yep.
I remember the first mower that I used when I was young had the crank. You folded it over, and then you crank the top to start
the finger remover.
The what? Yeah. Yeah.
Kenny just bought one of those.
Did he? I haven't seen one. I haven't seen one of those. And well, I haven't seen one since I was a kid using it.
I know.
I wish I could find one. I restored a little 2-horse bricks with a horizontal shaft. I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago as a winter project. I'm telling you that the crank on that thing, there was no wear. None.
Yeah.
Sweet.
It got a new set of rings, a quick hone, and that engine runs like it's brand spanking new. I mean, it's unbelievable. And then I've seen 4-year-old Chinese engines that are worn out. They haven't been run out of oil. They don't have scratches in the cylinder. They're just worn out. Hey, John.
Hey, John.
If John wants to come up, Stella, put me down.
Oh, I can. I guess.
What's going on with me?
I haven't even seen the.
Yeah, you can put me down.
A link.
Yeah.
Nobody's posted a link in a while. Nobody knows. I can't post anything.
Chubby Butcher bought that. He bought that 1963 Honda Eclipse off me. That self-propelled with the 3 3/4 Briggs & Stratton vertical shaft for the blade, horizontal shaft coming out the side for the pulley. Aluminum deck. Starts first pull, runs smooth, nice and quiet. Cut his lawn with it, happier, tickled pink.
I was doing a tiller. It's a brand of tillers over here, and back in early 80s to about early 90s, they put Kawasaki's on it, little 5-horse Kawasaki. It's called an FA 210D, and they don't make that. It's a side. It's an L head. It's a side valve Kawasaki. It's an engine. It runs absolutely fantastic. The problem is you can't get parts for them anymore. Well, you can get the gaskets. You can't get a carb. You can't get a pull start. So if any of those go, it's a goner. Yeah. But I mean, I just had one in that wouldn't start. I cleaned it out a little bit, started right up, and runs sweet as a nut. And this is I think an 84, 85. So it's got some years on it. But I mean, why don't they make little engines like that now? Because
yeah, they don't make anything last. Otherwise, they all go out of business.
Yeah. And the last refrigerator I bought, and I realized after the fact that my old one was really okay, is that I had to pay more for a dumb refrigerator than it was one of the smart ones. Yeah. Because I didn't want any of that smart stuff. I didn't want like the water thingy, whatever.
Yeah. Whenever I buy household appliances, I always go for models without all the fancy stuff.
That's right.
Because first of all, it costs you an arm and a leg, and second, you most likely don't need it.
Right.
And
I
it's
mean,
And-
the first
a
thing
washing.
that goes out.
Yeah, and like a washing machine, yeah, you put
Yes,
in
Dan.
half a gallon of detergent, and it does itself. Well, I can do that. I
Right.
really can. I mean, I can put that in the ball, put it in, and off it goes. Why do I have to pay $800 to get that feature?
or the ones that have Wi-Fi connected, it's like, now
I don't want. I don't.
why does my refrigerator need a Wi-Fi? You know,
know.
I mean, I'm trying not to go down that conspiracy theory path, but the point is if you get your LG refrigerator delivered like from Lowe's or Home Depot or something, your acceptance of their terms and conditions is written on the outside of the box that guy is out in the box truck slicing your refrigerator out of the box. So you have consented to them using your information for whatever they want to do. And I'm like,
No.
You ever thought there's a mic on behind you when you're walking around?
yes.
You know?
In the old days, Dan, we used to put burlap bags cut up and lay it on top of the seed so the birds wouldn't eat all the seed and keep the burlap bags wet.
What I would do, Dan, is once you put out the seed, you got to use some sort of top cover, something. It can be mulch, it can be sand.
I just rake it
dirt.
in.
Yeah, dirt, something to cover the seeds, because
Wait till September.
you can do that
Yeah.
too, but
Yeah,
still,
Mother Nature does it in October, right?
you will need to water, because seeds don't germinate until they get moist.
Right.
And
Heat and moisture. And
Yeah.
Well,
but
you could take the seed and soak it for a couple days.
you can
Oh,
do
yeah,
that.
good idea.
It's just
Turn
very
it
good.
out in the sun, let it dry, and then you can
And
distribute.
they got that other seed that you can buy that's got the coating on it that holds the water.
Yeah.
Now,
Fertilizer.
I can tell you the one thing: do not buy the grass seed that says it grows 3 times faster than any other grass, because it does. And the spot where I did it, I got to cut the grass twice versus the rest of the lot. Don't buy that stuff.
You know? It doesn't come up. So
It
why on
does
earth?
work.
Why on earth does grass come up on a crack in the sidewalk, but you can't get it to come up on a piece of dirt?
Yeah.
I know. That's grass for you. I mean, I had a thing I was reading a couple of years ago. It says that grass outside the lawn is a horrible weed.
Dan's from Canada
Yeah.
there, John. It's like we get cool weather.
Birds don't stay away from anything if it's edible.
that's right.
Well, I planted my peas. You guys would be proud of me. And I put and they crawl up a fence, and I put this really fine mesh green dome over them, and I tie wrapped it to the other fence so that it's only about this tall, but the sparrows can't get in there because they come and eat all the freshly germinated seeds.
Gee,
They love that stuff. And then rabbits and squirrels and stuff dig them up too. Ah.
We only have squirrels. We don't have rabbits, but we have crows.
Oh yeah. And
They
I'm
love
telling you, those
everything.
crows, they are smart creatures.
well, yeah. Right now, the crows are eating the babies out of the nests.
Yeah.
That's
Right. Crows
Crazy.
are like having a 2-year-old on
Yeah,
steroids.
They have a
We
memory
eat chicken
too.
too, right?
They have good memories.
Yeah. My buddy.
I have an anti-crow device. It's called Misto.
That yeah, well, if you get the
Called
big,
what?
I don't know if you got the big ones over there, but you know, he get a run
No.
for his money from some of the crows
He
around
does,
here.
but
We got the ravens.
if he we got ravens here, but
Yeah.
if he sits in the middle of the lawn, they will not land. Trust me, because he's psycho when he's out there. And
What is it? What is the mockingbirds that like to torture cats? You know?
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'm
Dive
telling you,
bombing cats.
if they do that with Misto, they are in lethal danger.
We don't have the mockingbirds, but we have the magpies and the crows. And they can be friends. Magpies and can be friends with each other.
Oh yeah.
We're
They're
enemies.
all in that uber smart bird category.
It's a
They are.
blackbird. It's
And
a blackbird.
if there's a bird of prey in the air, they will team up to chase it off.
My buddy
Not
had
a
a
peregrine,
pet
though.
crow.
A peregrine can pick them out of the sky at 200 miles an hour.
Yeah.
He had a pet crow that he raised from a small bird, and he trained it to do two things: break cigarettes and pick up shiny objects.
Yeah.
And this crow was notorious in the neighborhood, and he would come to his backyard and he'd go to his patio table, and that bird would pick up necklaces, rings. If somebody went swimming and they set their ring or their necklace on their patio table, the crow would come down, land there, pick it up, and take it back to his place. And if you put a pack of cigarettes out, the crow would land. It would put its foot down and open up the pack and break every cigarette in half, pull the cigarettes out one by one, sit there and break every one until they were all broken.
Sounds fun to me.
You guys are going to think I'm crazy, but I've got a crow out back. He's been there a couple of years, and he knows when I'm home, and he comes by and he goes, and I know what he's really saying. He says, "I am here. I am here." And I answer back just like he does, and he spins around. He's back.
Yeah.
You'll feed
Well,
him a
feed
couple of
him stuff, and then he'll start bringing you treasures like that.
Yeah. Metal detection treasures.
Yeah, get rid of your Geiger counter and get
Yeah,
Train a crow, Bruce. Train a crow.
No, you're right. Blue Jays doesn't know cats, but I'm telling you, my cat, he has a deficiency. He doesn't know when to stop.
That's because he's an orange cat.
But like a crow, the cat will display what he's caught during the day, and he'll lay it out there on the step or patio, and he'll show you what he did today. It's just like a crow. He'll drop that shiny thing on your deck. It's the same thing.
Even the big pigeons that are on my lawn, because I feed birds year round. Yeah, and sometimes there's like 3 or 4 pigeons.
You draw them in with food, and then the cat kills them.
Some of them, not all of them. Some of them. Yeah. The birds of prey gets them from time to time, but Mister will look at 5 pigeons, and they're big birds compared to him.
Yeah, they are.
And he will just go for it.
Right.
They all take off before he gets there, but he will. If one doesn't fly, he'll kill it. I mean, he's. And the same thing goes with crows and ravens. I mean, he doesn't. When they see him, they take off. The old cat we had, he came in because they were all bullying him. So he came in and slept for another 6 hours. But this one here, he doesn't. I don't know what it is. He doesn't stop. And the thing is, during the day if I'm on the breakfast meeting with Hank and Kenny, whenever Hank comes up and his voice is there, 3 seconds later, Mister's there.
Those doves are very gregarious. I can do this in Mexico, right? And they come right, and they will drive you crazy on the balcony. I'm not allowed to do it anymore.
So Dan, actually, what's happening there is your cat is trying to teach you how to hunt. Think of it like a cat. Think like a cat.
Squirrels.
It's a present, you know.
Yes.
See what I can do. Now you do better.
Exactly. Do better.
Yeah.
So
but mine is a male cat. He eats his stuff before he comes in.
Yeah.
You're smart.
Yeah.
So the Mustang's back home. We went and got it yesterday.
Ooh.
Jake and he had it on dolly so we could push it out so he could jack it up, take the wheel dollies out. But the interesting thing was he bought some mouse repellent packages. He said, I hope they worked. He said, because they were expensive. So he said he paid $50. I don't know what they are. We got to do something on them. But he set them by each tire. Then he set them inside the engine hood. He set them in the trunk. He set them inside the car in aluminum trays. Not a mouse. Not a mouse.
Peppermint oil is good. And I know what that stuff is. I bought it a couple of years ago because my garden shed, the little shed on the other side over there, it had a lot of loose sides, and I had mice in there all the time. And God, I can't think of the name of the stuff. It's in like a little sachet.
These were looked like sheets, and they you know what, the car smelled good. Like it wasn't like a poisony smell. It had a really nice smell to it.
I have a spray for man, I just ran out of words here.
Peppermint oil.
No,
peppermint oil is good.
I use traps, and I put peanut butter in the flap.
Yeah. anyways, the Mustang fired right up because we put 5 liters of kinetics alkylate fuel in it, turned her out, put the battery in, fired right up.
We've got. Do you guys know an animal called a marten? Marten.
An animal called a marten? Yeah, they're like a weasel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a weasel.
Yeah.
We have those, and they go into cars, and they will chew up wires and rubber and stuff. I have a spray for that, so whenever I wash my car, I just open up the hood and give it a spray of that. It smells kind of nice, but weird. Doesn't matter. It also keeps away rodents. So apparently,
a marten would be a rodent.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Sort of.
I think I brought this up before about the wiring harnesses being made with soy-based wiring.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lunch.
Yeah, and the lady across the street, $4,000 to rewire her car because the squirrels ate all the wiring.
Yeah.
Took
Yeah,
$600
they-
to replace my line to the accelerator pump, but they just ate that one connection.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, in my truck, they got to one of the fuel injector wires because I started the thing up and it was running like really, really rough. It was the only car I had. It was after my car wreck, so I had to drive this thing. And man, I thought I was going to like shake apart on the road, but it turned out they gobbled up one wire to one fuel injector. Ugh.
But you can get this spray. There's a couple of companies that makes it, and it keeps away rodents as well. And it doesn't.
You got to be able.
Hey, Jason, how you doing, brother?
I hadn't heard that,
Spray,
but that's a good idea.
Yeah, pine sol. I'm not sure I would spray pine sol over my engine bay, but yeah.
Don't you use pine sol in your cleaner?
I use
we
pine
don't-
sol in my
we don't-
ultrasonic cleaner. That's what I use it.
We can't get pine sol over here.
Stella, you should use the lavender. It chills you out. It just relaxes you.
The
Instead of the original, use the one with the lavender. It's great.
I got to start my truck. I haven't used it in 3 weeks. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah,
I got a mouse nest in the back of it.
And I actually have to like put something on my calendar to drive either my van or my truck at least once a week. It's like,
Yeah,
oh man, I gotta
at
really
least
go
roll
do
the
this.
wheel bearing so you don't park it back on the same flat spot.
Yes.
Hey, yeah, John. John can't stand squirrels.
And Bruce, if you wanted to work on your engine, you likely could step inside the engine bay and work on it. Nowadays, with the cars they're making, you can't even get your hand in there.
And you
Right.
know, when I bought that truck, it had the latest of everything.
Yeah.
John.
Fuel injected.
Yes.
John
Twenty-
That
says,
was
7
my old pickup truck. It was the first year they did fuel injection in Fords. Is it on 1988 F-150 I used to have?
Yeah.
Hey, can you guys still hear me or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
no, we can't hear you.
Can't see you, but we can hear you.
Yeah, we can.
Now, if you guys you're working on a mower, right? And he has a bagger on it, and you notice that the blades you just took off and sharpened are mulching blades, would you tell him?
Yay.
I mean, I just cut my lawn.
It's
I cut my
probably still
lawn
gonna
with
work.
it. I cut my lawn with it this morning. It cut beautifully. I'm like, wow, for bagger blades. I said,
Kenny, there are dual purpose blades out there.
Yeah.
but these don't have any lift on the back. They're almost flat.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they're like
Well,
brand new. So wherever he brought it last year, they sold him a bill of goods.
Yeah, well,
That's on your log truck.
just let him figure it out for himself, and then you.
Well,
can
no, he's a
buy
good friend of mine. I go to breakfast with him. He's a good friend. I'm gonna say to him, I mean, if he wants the bag, he'd be better off. I'm just gonna ask him, how is it bagged? Does it leave anything on the lawn? Because these blades were like brand new. I didn't have to do much to sharpen them, and my lawn looks freaking gorgeous with the cut that it did. Because I'm saying, what are these brand new? They were like brand new.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the only thing I would anticipate is that the cuttings are so small, it's going to overload the bag.
Maybe.
I mean, that would be what I would think. would happen.
Just tell him about it and have him try it.
Tell you what, why don't you just buy a Honda HRX? Then you can decide whether you want to mulch or not a bag, or in between,
or just don't use the bag, and it'll like make your lawn better.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, when you saw that little beauty that came visiting at the beginning of the show, when she's here, She's all over the place. And if I just mulch, there will be a ton of grass in the house, and I will be in the doghouse.
You're in there now?
Well, no.
You're in there now.
No, I'm not. I'm here volunteering. Sometimes I'm put in here. That's not so fun. No, doesn't matter. I'm telling you, if I mulch the lawn, grass clippings will be all over the house.
How about this one? Here, Klaus.
Exactly. I do that. I respond to that. Yes. What do you want? What do you want? What I can do? I can get it. What do you want? I do that.
It's on back order, honey.
We just did a self-propelled all-wheel drive Craftsman lawnmower, and it has the one lift handle for the rear wheels, and the front wheels it has a one lift also. So you only have to, if you adjust the one handle on the one side, your rear wheels both move at the same time, right? So, anyways, the guy says it's broken. Can you fix it? Well, I'm going to tell you why it broke. Number one, when the shaft goes from the one wheel to the other side, it's not keyed in. It's just a press fit onto that assembly. And when we cleaned the bottom of the deck, he likely had 30 pounds of wet grass and mud packed underneath. So what happened is the press fit on that fitting went. So now all we have to do is jack it up, get measurements to make sure that we got it in the same place, but then we have to weld it all the way around.
Yeah.
But this is, if the guy would have kept it clean, it likely would have lasted him. But now got to have 30 pounds of crap underneath it.
But to Kenny's, I'm sorry, Bruce, but to Kenny's issue with the bag and the mulching blade, now a mulching blade will need to create a vortex.
Yes.
Right.
Something.
Which means it will generate air.
Yeah.
It'll do some lift.
Yeah. If you then open up the back or take out the plug or whatever it is you do, so it can go in the bag, that lift will, instead of generating vortices, it will just generate an airstream out in the bag.
Right.
That's
so Kenny, if he's got blades with some sort of, I don't know if they're OEM or what they are, but some sort of just little wings on it, even though they are mulching blades, they will put stuff in the bag if you open up for it. Hey, Mick. So I mean, and we have they call them combi blades, combi blades, something like that, and they'll do both, depending on if you have an outlet for the air or not.
I've got high lift blades on my John Deere tractor, and it does a great job of mulching if it doesn't go up the chute.
It does, because it just if it doesn't go up the chute, it just creates vortices that makes the grass go around and gets cut multiple times before. Is that Jake?
It appears that Jake just had somebody that we pulled the
Jake?
mower to that can't pull the rope enough.
Oh,
is that Jake who made that comment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Jake likely was at a customer or something delivering.
Yeah. So
we
Jake,
sold
here
him
it
a
is.
push mower, but the guy's not pulling it hard enough to fire.
So the old man is talking. Jake, here's two things. Either get on this panel or get back to videos. We miss you, buddy.
Listen, if Jake's out there watching, midnight tonight, Lori and I were going on strike. We started Eliminated Performance Union.
There you go.
Mandatory vacation.
He says,
at least Jake, bring us in the Mustang. Show us.
He said, no strikes allowed at Eliminated Performance. He said he's going to call the new prime minister and make him get back to work.
Yeah. But Jake, at least show us the Mustang. I mean, we're dying here. The old man's been talking about it for years.
Oh, it's a beauty. It sounded yesterday when he fired it up. I forgot how good it sounded. It sounds like like when it's sitting there idling, it sounds like a Harley Davidson. Like, you know how a Harley sounds? It's got that sound. Yeah. And he hasn't even built the stroker yet. Like when he builds the stroker engine for this thing, it's going to be even twice as great sounding. I don't know how the neighbors are going to like it, but I like it.
I just got a spam call on my cell phone, man. Gee.
Oh, I got them.
I'm at the point where I just don't answer any calls. I let it all go to voicemail.
I have a lot of very old friends.
Yeah. Well, if they're not in my address book, boom, voicemail.
I was
Sorry.
going to just say earlier, I got a lady picking up a mower. I just tuned it up for her, and it's a Murray heavy deck. It was made in 1996, and the wheels don't even wobble.
No,
It's 29 years old.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
That's when they
bearings?
put real bushings and real
No.
bearings on
Yeah,
wheels.
but no bearings in the wheels.
No,
I got
it's just been maintained, right?
Yeah,
I got a question for you guys. Newer Husqvarna products, tractors, whatever. Is it only me, or do I not see Briggs and Stratton engines on Husqvarna products over the last 5 years?
I don't know.
I know they have their own
Yeah, I
engine.
wouldn't know.
I don't know what it is. I mean, we have over here those front mounted riders that I do a lot of. And I went to my dealer the other day, and the cheap range has Husqvarna engine on it, which is a Lonson Chinese engine. But once you get up to the mid range and the top of the line for residential, the Kawasaki's. And I think, like, okay, maybe it's just me, but a Kawasaki should be more expensive than a Briggs and Stratton.
Yeah, well, they put them on the high end John Deere's 20 years.
yeah. Normally, on
14
any machine around here with a Kawasaki engine on it on a riding mower, you're $200 to $300 more for that Kawasaki.
Yeah. So what I don't get is, how come Husqvarna isn't using Briggs and Stratton engines? I don't get that.
Cheaper.
Maybe because they're junk.
Then
Kawasaki
I mean,
Japanese drink.
Stella, it's fair enough, because the newer Briggs and Stratton, are they as good as the old ones? No, they're not. But the new Kawasaki's are not as good as the old ones, and the new Coilers are not as good as the old Coilers. So that's sort of the same. But to be honest, I think I like Briggs and Stratton. They're simple engines. They have a great parts program.
Yeah, remember when I got to interrupt. Remember when the 500 SE came in and we all hated it? Really, it was just that crazy little carburetor on it that was a problem. And now we all know about the carburetor, and it's got the little thing you can clean or buy a new one, whatever.
Right.
And now we don't hate it anymore.
Yeah, and Briggs parts compared to Honda and Kawasaki is cheap.
Right.
So I don't understand why big brands, at least Husqvarna, is shying away from Briggs and Stratton, because I like Briggs and Stratton. For what they cost, for what they are, they're good engines. Yes, they have issues.
They are good engines, but if I was a manufacturer, I would be highly suspicious of the don't ever change your oil. That's these engines.
But Stella, that doesn't exist anymore.
I understand, but that's what the idea is, and Husqvarna is going to be responsible for that Briggs and Stratton engine that fails, because some guy read on a forum somewhere or something said never change your oil.
3 years ago, yeah.
But to be honest, that the mean time before failure on one of those engines with don't change your oil is the same as the one where you have to change it.
Right.
Because you just have to make sure you refill.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't do.
But see, that's not Briggs and Stratton's problem, is it?
People, those engines I gotta say something. Those engines that came up with the do not change oil thing, if you take the oil filler cap off, there's a little weir in there to prevent you from pouring the oil out. You got to get that thing almost upside down.
Yeah. But
really, I haven't looked at that.
Yeah. Some of them do, but I'm just saying that the test on the engine, the mean time before failure on the do not change oil, is the same as one where you say do change the oil.
Right.
And I mean, look at Honda now. They're going 0.4 of a liter of oil in the new GCVs.
That is stupid, in my opinion.
Well, maybe that's the next don't change your oil issue, but all brands, all manufacturers have these things. They try to, whatever it is they're trying to do. But Briggs and Stratton, to me, is a good engine. I mean, they have their faults. Some blowhead gaskets, that's fine. It's a fairly cheap fix. If you don't change your oil, it doesn't matter what brand you bought. It's going to destroy itself.
But remember this, they don't fail until the warranty's up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They
No
don't last that long.
no
They've
engine
tested
fails
them.
before the warranty is out, Bruce.
They know that they'll run without changing the oil and adding anything to it for the lifetime that they're giving you on the warranty. They know that for a fact. They've tested it.
No, but yeah, but still, the do not change your oil engines from brakes has the same mean time before failure
Yeah.
as the ones where you do change them.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
you just have to top off. Engine gets worn, it gets thin, it gets burned off. There's a little more tolerances in the engine.
Yeah, I've had engines that change their own oil, right? You just have to fill them up 3 times a year.
Exactly.
Now, as far as the Husqvarnas go, I don't know what they're like there, but the new ones, we got a new one in, and it had a broken crankshaft.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, like, I looked at this thing, and the back plastic flap, why they didn't go with the old style plastic, but now they got this hardened John Deere plastic, cracks all the shit. Like, they're all cracked.
Yeah.
Then the crankshafts, if they hit anything, they're actually cracking the crankshafts, because instead of going with a one-piece pulley and blade adapter assembly that supports the whole shaft, they cheap out and they put the pulley with the set screw up above, and then they use this short little tiny blade adapter that's got a good solid keyway in it that you would hope would break and snap, but no, it when you hit something, it damages the crankshaft. It doesn't even shear the key.
I had a guy in last year for an all-wheel drive Husqvarna mower, push mower. And when I got done with the belt and all the pulleys, and it was a pretty expensive bill. And he was, he got a little, that was a little too, that was a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. I said, but dude, you bought a lawnmower with an extra feature. Do you think that is just free? I mean, this mower will do things other mowers won't. Do you think that's going to cost you less?
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah, it's not the best of systems, but how many of you know of an all-wheel drive push mower that actually works? The Husqvarna one works. All you have to do is make sure you maintain it. And when you come in every 3 years, you're not maintaining it.
No.
Too much technology.
Yeah, I mean, but if you need 4-wheel drive on your push mower because of the slopes and stuff, you got to pay for it. I mean, if you buy a regular car with 2-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, boring and all that, and you get yourself an SUV with 4-wheel drive, I mean, do you think it's cheaper to change the tires on the 4-wheel drive than on your regular car? No, it's going to cost you more. Well, and what I'm saying is that most of these issues that we sometimes discuss here, they're user-induced.
Yes.
Morton's Jake building that stroker. That's a complete new build from a 302 that he's bored out, and he's got all the pistons and new camshaft, crankshaft, everything's brand new, lifter, everything is going to be right from scratch. He's building his own stroker.
Yeah. All right, guys, I just got a customer show up. I got to go.
Okay, Brucey boy.
Money.
Nice seeing you again.
See you later, guys.
Have a nice day, Bruce.
See you, Bruce.
Yeah, everything that's being made is being made like it's sad. Like it's really because people, they don't realize, like, for example, the biggest tip I could give to anybody is if you have a solid steel deck and your front wheels are mounted to that steel deck, you're doing good. But when it's got that plastic piece mounted to the steel deck, you're going to have issues. It's going to break. Yeah, it's only held on there with 4 bolts.
Yeah.
And then that piece, to buy that piece to hold those front wheels on the Power Smarts, it's like $60 to $80 US plus shipping, plus duty.
But I mean, Wayne, if you go to your small engine dealership, you walk in the door, how many Power Smarts do you see?
None.
Exactly.
0.
So if you think you can go to a box store and buy things at half the cost and everything is going to be as good as at the dealer, you're asking for it,
But these are for the people that are out there looking.
We understand that here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
nobody else does. Like the general buying public really doesn't understand that.
But I mean,
yeah. And then you get these people that are mulching their lawn and they're doing this to their lawnmower. They're like banging it to get all that. And it's got the plastic piece in the front. The next thing you know, that piece is flipped up like this and is broken off.
Yeah.
And they say, can you fix it? Nope.
No.
I have a standard answer when people ask me what mower should I buy, and I say Honda HRX, or we have a brand over here called Clippo, which is really good. Clippo or Honda HRX, and a lot of people come back and say, "Oh, but that's expensive." I said, "I know.
You get what you pay for."
Exactly. Right. So, wouldn't you recommend, this and that? I said, "No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't recommend it.
No,
it's a crappy mower. It's cheap. Yeah, it's cheap. It's going to be good on your wallet, but
it's cheap and inexpensive."
Yeah, exactly. And people sometimes I can see they don't quite, because some people they will call you up and they would like you to tell them it's okay to buy a cheap one.
Right.
And I will never say that.
Right.
So when people, sorry, go ahead, Wayne.
We just had a lady call up the other day. She was referred by somebody else. She said, I got a John Deere riding mower. I bought it 9 years ago. I said, new or used? She said, used. So I said, so it's basically 14, 15 years old. Yeah. Has it ever been serviced? No. Okay, what's it doing? Well, it's leaking a lot of oil and it's backfiring. I said, well, right off the bat, it could be the head gasket, your valves. You've never had the valves done. The valves likely have to be set. So, I said it could be a couple hours. But how is the machine all in all? Like, other than that? She said, oh, it's been a great machine. She said, can you come and pick it up? I said, yeah, but it's out of Port Colborne, so it's $65 plus 13% pickup. Holy cow. Well, I said, you can go out and rent a trailer from U-Haul for $25 to bring it here, and then rent one for $25 to pick it up, plus all the time that you're going to spend. So, I don't know if I want to spend that kind of money. So I said, okay. So she said, well, what's it going to cost to fix? I said, well, listen, I can tell you it's 2 to 3 hours, but it could be a sump gasket. It's likely a head gasket. It's likely the valves need doing. I got to power wash it to clean it up to see if I can see where it's leaking from. So, you could be looking at this kind of, I don't know if I want to spend that kind of money. Well, I said, all I can recommend is John Deere does make a quality riding mower. But if you're going to go to the big box store and buy one, I would highly not recommend that, because number one, I says you go to the dealership in Dunville, Pete Small Engine Repair. He's a John Deere dealer. And if there's any warranty issues, you're right at the top of the list. Yeah. Right there, because you bought it from him. Now you go and buy one from the big box store and you need warranty work. You call Pete's up in Dunville and Pete says, well, you didn't buy it here, so it'll be 3 to 4 months. Yeah, it's 3 to 4 months. And because it's a warranty issue, you don't have a mower.
Stella, can you post the link again?
I can't post anything, and I realized I just wiped myself out of the studio a few seconds ago when I was looking for something else to do.
Kenny, can you post the link again? I'm just thinking maybe John is lurking out there. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Well, actually,
I got
Kenny, it's been about 2 hours. I got to go, by the way. So
I got to go because I'm taking the wife out for supper for Mother's Day.
Yeah. So
good job.
End of the line.
So Kenny, that was a great thumbnail you put up. We talked about the Rigid, and hopefully there's a rep from Rigid out there that'll send me a T-shirt and a hat. Okay.
Yeah.
I think Kenny X'd himself out just like I did a few minutes ago.
Will. You want me to bring it over?
Well, guys, I'm going to take off too. Panel chat.
Yeah, I'll bring it over.
It's been great.
Okay,
Kenny,
bye.
For setting up. Stella, thanks for running it. Everybody,
see ya.
Take care.
Got to go deliver a mower.
Bye, Kenny.
Bye-bye.